Went into Nike on Friday, and the easiest way you can make money doing retail arbitrage with shoes at Nike outlets. Like bought these pair of shoes, and I kind of show them to you. They're pretty cool, right? So I'm paying, I think it was like $129 for each pair of shoe. Plus I had the 30% off. My number may be wrong, maybe like 115 or something like that. And so like I just pulled out my phone, calculated what is 30% off of. Even before I'm checking out, I am literally standing there and selling the shoe. So I went through and with this model, I sold 6 pairs, all between $145 and like $135. I can't remember exactly at the top of my head, but I think on average, I made like $38 per pair that day.
One of the best reasons to start a YouTube channel is you get to talk with people that are smarter in certain areas of business than yourself. And in today's video, I was fortunate enough to interview a good friend of mine. And despite what the thumbnail may say, he is not a beginner to e-commerce. However, he does have a new Amazon account. And if you've been selling on Amazon, you know that you will come across many gated brands and categories when you first start selling. But despite being new, he has had some great success in his first 30 days selling on the platform using some very creative methods that he's going to be sharing with us. Now, for everyone's convenience, I will be timestamping in the description below certain areas of this conversation so you can move around at your own convenience. And lastly, I do give out a 1-hour call to someone who likes and comments on every single video. And once again, I will be giving out 2 comments this video. So either or 2 of you reach out to me on social media and let's make it happen. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this interview. I really hope you guys enjoy. Hey, everyone. Welcome to today's video. I'm really excited to bring on a guest to my channel. His name is Zach, and I've known this guy for quite some time and really just excited to share his story with you and just to give you guys the perspective of what you can sell just being brand new to Amazon, because I get so many people every single day that just say, I can't sell anything. This is so tough. But he's had some really good success, not only focusing on Amazon, but we're going to touch on eBay as well. And I just want to share some of this information as well as, just some motivation for you guys. So Zach, I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah. So, my name's Zach. Currently right now, I'm 29 years old. I live in Detroit, Michigan, and I'm a high school teacher. This is my second year teaching. I would say this is my first actual job I've ever had. And being a teacher, like I needed a way to make some extra income, obviously, right? So let's see, in about summer of 2017, I think this is like, Chris, I think this is where like you're in my path, kind of like where it started, is I learned about private labeling on Amazon, right? And didn't know much about it. I did probably about a month's worth of product research and finally took all the money I had basically in my bank account and put it towards a product. And I think I'm pretty sure you actually had a guy on here that did the same exact product that I did at a very large scale. I was on obviously a much smaller scale. And that was the solar eclipse sunglasses, right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. That was like May of 2017, just a few months right before the solar eclipse, right? Like there was people out there already killing it, right? You could buy those things for 20, 30 cents or 10, 20 cents or so and sell them for about $10 to $15 on Amazon. And me being so late, my thing was, okay, if I want to go ahead and jump in with this, if I want to take that risk, what can I do differently than anybody else, right? It was pretty saturated. It's pretty competitive. The advertising cost quite a bit with it. So what I did was I looked to see like where the solar eclipse, where the pathway was across the US, right? It was right smack dab through like the heart of America, right? Like right through like Nebraska, like Colorado, et cetera, right? And so what I did was I took that like idea, like that, the research, and my design for the solar eclipse glasses was the USA flag, right? I think I'd seen maybe 1 or 2 other small sellers doing this, but they had like bad pictures, bad listings, etc. And so I decided to do it. I jumped in board with it. I bought 1,500 units and sold out pretty quickly. I'd never reordered because it was a few months right before. That was basically my job for the summer. And I learned so much about Amazon at that time that it was incredible. I was just sitting on the couch every single day, like refreshing my Seller Central app, and the numbers just kept going up and up and up. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm making money at it. And I know this is a one-time thing, it's seasonal, but heck, like I'm addicted to Amazon ever since.
That's awesome. And sometimes too, it just, you need something to open your eyes like that. And I know for a fact that I've had similar instances in the past. So that was then. And so fast forward now. So you said you're currently teaching,
Mhm.
and what exactly, I know you've had some awesome success as a beginner who, faces the problem of running into restrictions and everything. So tell me how you've overcame that. Like, are you selling on just Amazon? Are you, what kind of, are you doing arbitrage, wholesale? Are you still doing private label? Like, kind of go into what are you currently up to?
Yeah, so I took maybe a year break from Amazon entirely. I took that money I'd made from private labeling and started putting it towards shoes and doing a little bit of retail arbitrage, a little bit of online arbitrage. And I actually started buying like high-end sneakers, Kyrie Irving basketball shoes, the Yeezy, if you're familiar with them, the Yeezy V2 models, a little bit after they had just released. And I started flipping those, buying them for a couple $100s, making anywhere from about $50 to $150 profit on each pair. And it was incredible. However, like when you deal with high-end shoes, if you don't have a name for yourself and you're just selling on eBay, which is what I started doing, it's really hard to make your name for yourself and move a lot of products at a high volume that warrants buying shoes at $300 to $500 a piece. So I slowly like changed my model to go from that. What a lot of people are doing nowadays, and that's going to the Nike outlets, going to Marshalls and buying sneakers in there for 20, 30, 40, $50 a piece, and then selling them on eBay and things like Poshmark and Macari, etc. Currently, I'm selling on eBay and Poshmark. I started Poshmark around Thanksgiving, around Black Friday this year, and it's been great for me. Actually, it's probably overtaken eBay as like my primary seller with shoes. So I'm selling on those two with shoes, and then about a month ago, little like month and a half ago, I finally got recommitted back into Amazon. So I'm taking taking part of my profits and reinvesting into Amazon, and basically has been doing a little bit of retail arbitrage, but mainly some online arbitrage, eBay to Amazon flips with Amazon. And that's taken off to a point where I've taken a step back from sneakers and kind of focusing on those flips right now just to build up a little bit of capital.
That's awesome, man. And so it sounds like you're kind of balanced on some platforms. And when do you notice anything drastically different from Poshmark to eBay in terms of, calculating, like finding what things sold at or anything like that? Is that a little bit more difficult, or is it fairly similar?
It's fairly similar. With eBay, like if you want to search like comps, like the competitive sold listings, like what is actually selling, like specifically what you're doing is looking up like the style ID number, right? So like for example, Nike, like on the shoe box has like a 9-digit number, and then you can also find this like inside the shoe as well, right? So if I want to search on eBay and see like is this selling, that's how you do it. On Poshmark, they are looking mainly at the name, so it is a slightly different. So sometimes it's harder to find the exact same model, because if I want to look at Kyrie Irving basketball shoe, I might search like Kyrie 5 and like a colorway or the title of the name, but a bunch of other listings are going to pop up too. For me, it's a little bit harder to search things on Poshmark, but I've been moving more and more shoes on Poshmark than eBay, so it's obviously been good.
Maybe that's it, that barrier to entry. I don't know.
I can definitely see that.
That's cool, man. What about, I see it on your Instagram story, and it seems very fascinating to me. And I've talked with you a little bit about it before, but it's a platform. I think it's called StockX. Or
Yeah,
is that?
actually, I have a pair of shoes sitting right here. I was kind of hoping you were going to ask me about that because I had like a
Yeah.
little example.
Awesome.
So this weekend right now is like a friends and family sale. So I got 30% off my entire purchase at Nike. Went into Nike on Friday and was looking at like the shoes that were in the aisles, and I noticed that they had these Black History Month like basketball shoes that had just released, a bunch of different models, a bunch of different athletes, like Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, etc. And I came across these Kyrie Irving Black History Month shoes, right? And so what I did was, like I said, like, hey, if I want to make some like instant cash, and this is like the easiest way you can make money doing retail arbitrage with shoes at Nike outlets. The margins aren't always great, but you can still make pretty easy money, and it's guaranteed instant flips, right? So I went in and like bought these pair of shoes, and I kind of show them to you. They're pretty cool, right? So I don't know if you can see this too well right here.
Yeah.
So I went through and I saw these, and like when you look at them, like they're higher end shoes. maybe not high end. I think the retail on them was like 130 or so. But like when I saw them, I'm like, oh, that's the type of shoe that's going to be on StockX, right? Like they're shoes that you can't find anywhere. I think when they were released, they may not have sold out on this model, but it was pretty close. And what that means is when you go into StockX, it's like a stock market for shoes. What I did was I took that 9-digit number that you found on the box, I typed it in, the shoe comes up, and there was a lot of people basically saying, hey, I will buy this shoe at this price. And a lot of them were about $135 to $145. And I looked at it and I'm like, okay, I'm paying, I think it was like $129 for each pair of shoe. Plus I had the 30% off. My number may be wrong, maybe like 115 or something like that. And so like I just pulled out my phone, calculated what is 30% off of my buy cost. It came out to like $95 or something like that. And so I just went through and just matched like what sizes they had available to what people were wanting to pay for them. And it's like when it's one of those things where even before I'm checking out, I am literally sitting there or standing there and selling the shoe. So I went through and with this model, I sold 6 pairs, all between $145 and like $135. So I can't remember exactly at the top of my head, but I think on average, I made like $38 per pair that day. That was Friday.
That's awesome. That
Yeah.
is so awesome. And even and so like you said, which those margins aren't bad. The gross on them is really nice, but there's no capital. I don't know how the cash flow system on StockX works, but even if it's not immediate, even if they delay payment, still
It's pretty immediate. Like what's nice is that so I live in like the Detroit area and StockX is in Detroit. So I will ship these out Monday. They ship it to StockX, they authenticate it, make sure it's a real shoe, like it's not a fake. And as soon as it's authenticated, I get the payout. So more than likely I'll be paid out Monday evening and then it'll go on to the buyer.
that's so awesome.
Yeah, so I
That's
spend a couple $100, make a couple hundred return on a profit, and like I said, I'm spending more money on those shoes than I would like throughout the rest of the store. But again, it's almost instant money.
That's great. Yeah, you cannot pass up free money at all. I always tell people that. So it sounds like, okay, you're in several different markets. Now, to get back to Amazon, what are you focusing on? Like what, because I always tell people it's always good to focus at least somewhat into, maybe a few categories.
Mhm.
I know you mentioned, eBay flips to Amazon. What are you currently focusing on to sell on Amazon as a new seller?
So number one thing that like I've been trying to send to Amazon is books because everybody, for the most part, you're engaged in almost every single book. I think there are some like newer textbooks that you may be gated on, but I've been starting to go to more and more library sales, especially as like the spring starting to hit and there's actually, starting to open up all these sales again. But that's not something I want to do long term. I like doing the library sales and I like going to thrift stores and getting them. And because it's especially as a new seller who may not have much capital, it's a great way to do things, great way to, and the real reason why I'm doing it is build up my seller feedback, right? So like I still have less than 10 reviews. I think I have like 7 or 8 now, but I've only really feel like I've been doing this for about 4 to 6 weeks. So I'm just getting as many books as I can to send into Amazon to build up that score. But the other 2 main things I'm focusing on are shoes, which again, like I'm not selling Nike, I'm not selling Adidas or any other top brands, but I am selling shoes and a lot of like mid to higher range electronics, like around between like $80 to up to about $450.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So,
Mm.
so you're really succeeding with the eBay flips to Amazon. And I've actually had really good luck with that with OA. Not so much on the front of electronics, but just other categories, toys or whatever. A lot of people, they don't want to buy from eBay. They think it's some kind of scam or something because you're
Right.
buying from a third-party seller. But in reality, you're backed by eBay's system.
Yeah, I will say, yeah, we are backed by eBay, which is always nice to have. But I will say, like, what I am doing is higher risk. Shoes, like already, just think about that category as well. Like, just think about that category. Like, the return rate is about like 6 to 7% that I've seen. And then what I'm doing with like electronics, I'd say like 90% of what I'm flipping from eBay to Amazon are new electronics. And again, if I'm buying these for like my right around like my sweet spot is like buying around like $50 to $80, selling between like 120 to 150. But if someone gets it, uses it, and decides they don't want it, like Amazon's going to take it back. Amazon's going to take that return, right? So
Yep.
electronics are probably higher than most categories are anyways with return rates. So it's something that I had to become like comfortable with, saying like, hey, like, am I comfortable like buying, like, for example, I bought a printer off eBay that's sitting over here on the floor. I bought a printer off eBay for about $155 that sells, looking at the Keep It charts, sells around $420 every single time, like $210 profit, something like that. And I had to say like, okay, I can't do this a ton because I still don't have that much capital, but am I comfortable buying this? And like printers like can be kind of hit or miss with a lot of people. They don't know how to use it. They may send it back, right? Like something as like minuscule as that, not reading directions properly, and it's just saying, hey, I don't want this anymore. They send it back to Amazon. I'm going to be out of $150, right? So again, I had to be comfortable, like knowing I can do this.
Yeah. And I mean, you can still hopefully, in reality, hopefully get it returned to you. But Amazon's still going to take their cut. And that's what I
Oh
was.
yeah, they're going to take their cut, but like they're also like, if someone returns a printer, I'm probably not selling that again, right? That's the type of something that doesn't have much resell when it's used.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Once the seal is broken, it's like, well,
yeah,
it looks like this is getting sold as, used.
So I will say my risk is a lot higher than probably most people's are.
I believe there's a time and a place for that. And
true.
And it just depends on the context of your situation and, really analyzing the situation too. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm a big believer in taking risks. So let's see here. So you're new to Amazon, you have a current system down. Like what markets do you see yourself getting into in the future? Like where do you want to take this, I guess?
That's still something that's kind of like changing day by day. I have some like long-term goals, but that's not something that's like I'm really too focused on right now. My thing right now is just kind of focusing on what like developing like the systems and processes just day to day and how I can like fine tune like this business that I've kind of started to build for myself. I think as of right now, I think I want to start getting into wholesale, but like that's maybe towards the end of this year, but I will start like researching a little bit more in depth and that sort of thing. But I haven't really figured that out yet. I think I'll always I love doing shoes. It's something I'm very passionate about. I bought like a few high-end shoes this morning as they were released, and it's something I think I'm always going to do in some capacity. So moving forward, like I know we've talked about this before, like one of my short-term goals is obviously get like Ungated and Nike and Adidas and some higher end stuff, just because like it can get frustrating. Like I live in a 800 square foot apartment and I got shoe boxes everywhere. Like I got a table over here that's full of shoe boxes. I got bags in front of me because I went to Converse last night and they're just laying there. And I just like the idea of prepping them and sending them off to Amazon and just kind of getting rid of that, like that chaos in my living room. So short term, that's kind of where I want to be. And then maybe get into wholesale and then kind of just see where it takes me. It's just addicting game, especially Amazon. So I'm just really excited.
Yeah, man. And I think that's great too. And I can really relate to that because I get people who ask me, what 6-month term goals should I set? And for me, things have changed so much in just like 3 or 4 months, let alone 6 months. It's almost hard. It doesn't seem far out, but in reality, it is. When you're in the trenches doing this kind of stuff, it's crazy how fast things can change. I honestly just break my goals down by month. I have some broader like year goals, but they're very, very, very broad. So I 100% relate to you, man. So it sounds like, and I mean, you're figuring out the system. Everyone is figuring out their own system. It doesn't matter who you are and whatever you're doing. You could take a course, you could not take a course. Everyone's context is going to be different. It sounds like you're figuring yours out. So what advice would you give to someone just starting or relatively new that just is struggling with finding stuff to sell on Amazon? What advice would you give these people?
It's going to be cliche, but like literally just start. Like if you don't know what to sell, like when I'm bored, I'll go to like a Marshall's and just walk around with like my phone and I have a scanner as well. And I'll just scan stuff and see if I can sell it or if I can't. I'm not even looking at the profits. Like, can I even like make money off this? And like what I'll do is just, pull up Amazon, like the Seller Central. And if I'm gated in it, I'll see if I can get automatically ungated. I'm not lying to you. Like I definitely been ungated between 150 brands over the past 2 months just by doing this. So like I reactivated my Amazon account back in August since February right now. And I didn't really do anything other than maybe sending like maybe a shipment of books every 2 months. That was maybe like 50 to 100 pounds just to get a few sales per day. But like I wasn't actually committed to it. And I think I had like analysis by paralysis, and I was watching so much YouTube like videos and trying to learn it. But like, I can't tell you how many times I watched a video just on how to create a shipment. And I'm just like, why don't I actually just do this? Like, I'm not learning anything. I'm not going to retain this watching the same video for the fifth time. Like, my biggest piece of advice is like, get out there and do it, and just accept the fact that you're going to fail at a lot of things, right? Like, you're going to have, like I'm saying, like, I'm going to have things returned. Like, I buy a lot of shoes and I get them shipped to my house a lot. And I can't tell you how many times in the past year those shipments have been stolen or they've been lost. Like, back in like April of May of last year, I did not have much money to my name. I had an $800 shoe order that was stolen that I probably could have made about $2,000 profit on. Like, just accept that like bad things are going to happen, because the more and more you keep working at all this, the more that you fail, or like you fail, right? Like, the more you're going to learn, you're going to figure out the processes. It's not like my numbers are incredible or anything, but I would not be in the place I am without just accepting the fact that, hey, you're going to fail. Just continue to test everything out, because you're going to find 1, 2, or 3 things that is going to kind of like make that little snowball effect.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome advice. I mean, I couldn't have said it any better. Just start and, try and learn from your failures. And it's crazy how much this stuff translates into other aspects of business. I sell on Amazon, but also I've been trying just to create a personal brand, and just, there's other things outside of Amazon. And it's crazy how this stuff translates over, it carries over. So,
Yeah, it
I mean,
carries to everything.
yeah. So, I mean, that's awesome advice. And I guess to kind of close out here, where can people follow you at? Where can people see what you're up to right now?
So right now I'm only on Instagram. Probably will expand here in a little bit, but on Instagram it's at Zechariah Allen. And yeah, like, whoever's watching this, like, please feel free, like, slide into my DMs. And if you want to talk shoes, like if you want to talk new releases, like, just hit me up. If you have questions over like newbie sellers on like for Amazon or eBay, and I sell on Poshmark as well, like, I'm not an expert in any means, but like, I am always down to answer questions. And I love when people reach out. I think I try to over provide value when people do, just because like I am so obsessed with this. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And just to kind of speak on that, yeah, your Instagram always has some awesome stuff in the stories. Always super motivated. Definitely check that out.
I
And if
appreciate it.
I will put that in the comment section as well. That way you guys can check out his Instagram, and, maybe down the road, if he has a YouTube channel, I will be putting that down there as well. But I mean, seriously, man, thank you so much for your time. Hopefully it provided some value and helped some people, motivate some people. Thank you so much. And
One more thing before you go. I have like a
yeah,
little nugget I want to like kind of throw out there. If you're new to selling on Amazon, right? But you know a few brands that you're ungated in, and this, like, I want to give like one freebie to everybody, and kind of like what I'm doing with the eBay to Amazon flips. So I think it's really going to help a lot of people. Is go onto eBay and just search like whatever you're ungated in. Search a very broad like keyword. I'll give you exactly what I just did. I got ungated in Kodak. It's not a brand that like I needed. I think I just got auto ungated like the first time I applied for it. And like, I don't have a lot of sales on Amazon. And what I did was just search Kodak printer and filter by accepts offers, right? And go
wow.
through, and so I'm only going to sell new printers. So go through and find the models that look like they're brand new in box, obviously filtered by new as well, right? Compare it against your Amazon seller app and find what you can make a profit on, and then send them an offer, send them a lowball offer. Like, they may be offended by it, but like, the worst thing that's going to happen is they're going to send you like a dirty message, right?
Yeah.
So do that, but send out 100, 200, 500 offers. Take 2 hours one night. Just do this with a bunch of different brands, a bunch of different categories you're engaged in. And what's going to happen is you're going to get 20 or 30 people that say, yeah, or counter offer you. And you'd be like, oh yeah, so I'll make some nice profit off this. Easiest way I've ever found to make money. And yeah, I think that can help a lot of people.
Man, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Yeah, you're right. Like, send 500 offers, even if like 5% of those people say yes, that's still
Yeah,
25.
like, I've tried like the tactical arbitrage route. I haven't like really invested the time in it, but like, this is a way just to kind of think outside the box.
That's what you have to do. You have
Sit
to,
on the
no
couch
matter
and just
what
figure
you're
this
doing.
out.
Yeah, you have to think outside the box and get creative. I mean, that's what it all boils down to. If you're using tactical arbitrage, not using it, whatever, you have to do that. But yeah, no, that's great. And there's tons of that stuff on his Instagram. So we will go ahead and close out here. Seriously, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Hey everyone, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe. I also have a free Facebook group in the description below. See you in there.